I would like to share a heartfelt thanks to everyone who has made the time to attend my mother's service today, especially in these weather conditions and on Valentine's Day weekend. I would also like to extend a special thanks to Alan Pinozzo and the Pinozzo Brothers Funeral Home for their guidance and hospitality in organizing this ceremony. There has been a healthy mix of family, friends, and neighbors that have all attended today or reached out to me prior to this and shared their feelings of shock, sadness, and condolences at the news of my mom's passing. If my mom could have her say, she would be both deeply moved and probably just a little fussy that we have all gathered to give her so much attention this afternoon. My mom never sought the spotlight, but due to her charismatic and bold nature, it often found her. She was a complex woman who had an affinity for simplicity, but refused to ever concede to conformity. Unlike some who may smile to your face and aim a knife at your back, my mom was never afraid to mince her words or her feelings in the name of political correctness or false pleasantries. You knew exactly where you stood with my mom from day one. If you stood on the good side of her, you got the opportunity to soak in her loving, hilarious, and thoughtful self. An individual who would not hesitate to give you the shirt off her back. And if you stood on the wrong side of her, well, you're probably not here today. My mom subscribed to the notion that there are 4 pillars to life: love, honesty, truth, and respect. Without these qualities in life, you have nothing. I often observe others change face, change character, change moral, and change ethics to fit whatever situation they need to benefit from. But this kind of behavior was of no interest to my mom. It didn't impress her if you were rich. It didn't sway her if you had amassed a cache of materialistic possessions. What allowed her to open up to you was if you treated her with the same amount of respect and dignity that you would yourself. If you could figure that out, you had the opportunity to gain a friend that would last you a lifetime. Growing up, I did not always have this appreciation for my mom's lack of a filter that I do now in adulthood. I was often too afraid she may say something offensive to a school official, criticize a person's lack of hygiene within their hearing range, or point blank tell someone she did not like what they are doing or how they are doing it. Often, she did do all these things and more. But in a day and age where we are often so quick to silence an individual's voice that does not fit with what society says we should think or what we as an individual want to hear, my mother was unknowingly a pioneer. Free think and free thought were skills she was embedding in me not through talking about it, but living it daily through her interactions. A trait of hers that I once feared and thought detrimental, I realized in later years was a trait that had garnered her many friends and admirers. My mom often taught me if you attempt to please everyone, you risk the chance of rendering yourself a no one. She allowed herself to be true to her beliefs and was not afraid to make friends or enemies in the process. That preservation of her true self is something I think we can all observe from my mom's life, and still a little piece of it for our own. My mom did not become this charismatic woman overnight. It was a decades-long journey that was built with overcoming hardships, profound loss, and challenges that any lesser soul would have succumbed to decades ago. My mother and her sisters, Linda and Diane Bursey, both who have preceded her in transitioning, did not have an easy childhood. They faced unfathomable obstacles that would make most of us wonder how my mom could still carry a smile, sing a tune, or make you laugh. She persevered through hardships that were undeserving of her loving and sensitive nature, and was taught cruel lessons that forced her to forge armor that protected her heart and mind. Trust did not come easy for my mom, and she carried her premium grade bullshit detector with her no matter where she went. So for those who earned it and were able to be called a friend by Sandra Locke, it is a testament to the good that resides within you. Of course, my mom did eventually allow love to enter her heart, and on April 19th, 1986, she married my father, Harry Locke III. 2 years later, I entered the fray and watched as the two of them built a home and lifestyle for me that neither of them had when growing up. two loving and selfless individuals working hand in hand to provide the best they could for their child. They learned to be the role models that they lacked in their childhood and gave me an opportunity to succeed for which I refused to squander. My mom carried so much pride, watching me earn degrees at both The Ohio State University and University of Southern California. My success a testament to her own sacrifices she endured to make sure I could obtain the goal of being the first in our little immediate family to earn such degrees. Speaking of the home my parents built, some of you were here and present for my father's ceremony that happened in this very chamber 7 years ago. There I spoke of the great pride my father took in maintaining our home, specifically when it came to crafting his own little handmade Eden that was our front and backyard lawn. Well, truth be told, that is only half the story. Where my father had the careful, delicate, and talented hands to beautify our house, my mother was unquestionably the architect and warden, as my dad sometimes jokingly called her, which helped guide him to greatness. My mom loved the home they made in Calumet City, so much so that even when my father passed in 2014, and against my concerns of her growing physical ailments that would impede her ability to care for the home single-handedly, my mom refused to leave. She refuted my pitch of California dreaming, cited that Lake Michigan and Navy Pier were more majestic than the Pacific Ocean and Santa Monica could ever hope to be. But deep down inside, I knew that she did not want to let go of a home that in many ways reminded her daily that she rose above those obstacles that plagued her during childhood, rose against those who had written her off to be just another statistic from Chicago's South Side, and was able to carve out her own slice of life and security that seemed like an implausible dream during her formative years. With that in mind, it should come as no surprise that providing physical labor and maintaining the integrity to the home and neighborhood my mom came to love ultimately led to her passing. As I listened to the doctors and neurologists explain to me that my mom had lost her ability to move, talk, and think independently, I slowly realized that my mom had already transitioned to a higher place long before she reached their hands, and what had been left behind for me to care for was her beautiful vessel. My wife, Fama, who my mother absolutely adored, and I stood vigilant for almost 4 straight days as we watched Mom enter the final days of her journey. For most of those days, I would simply stare at my mom's face, taking in as much of her as I possibly could, and trying to figure out how I was so blessed to receive the love and care of someone who gave me their everything. On Tuesday night, while holding her hand and listening to Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell's Ain't No Mountain High Enough, one of my mom's favorite songs, I witnessed the last breath of a woman who allowed me to take my first. A moment that I will be grateful for until the end of my journey. I have never known a pain as profound as this, though I know many have before me, and unfortunately, many more will after me. It is for those that I preach. Cherish a mother's love. For it is unprecedented and an unrivaled type of love to which we only get to experience but once in this life. While collecting pictures from my mom's image gallery here today, I discovered a message on the back of a picture frame from 1996 addressed to me that says, "You are all I have in life. Never forget me. Love you forever, signed Mom," with a PS that simply said, "Smile." Well, Mom, to forget you would be to forget my existence, to forget the life you breathed into me, and to forget the man you made me today. And that just simply is not possible. So thank you for everything. You will never be forgotten. And I love you forever. And I'll do my best to smile. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. I really appreciate it.